All right, so today's our last day of poetry, and our objective today is to try to say this really long word. Readers notice when and why poets use onomatopoeia. That's what I'm going to go with for today. I'm pretty sure there's a sounding out. I have it somewhere, I'm pretty sure in here, but I'll find it eventually. Okay, so imagine. Yes, Zoe? Sure, go ahead and give us a shot. I saw it one time when I was planning and I was practicing the word, but then it's been so long since I built this PowerPoint that I forgot how to say the word.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced onomatopoeia.
All right, onomatopoeia. All right, we're going to go with that for now. Okay, so I'm going to read a familiar poem to you. We've gone through quite a few poems throughout this short mini unit. And as I read, I want you to close your eyes, listen carefully, and use the words to make a picture in your mind. So it's going to be the welcome to the night. So we've done this before, I believe. We closed our eyes for this one. So you're going to have your eyes closed again, and just listen carefully. To all of you who crawl and creep, who buzz and chirp and hoot and peep, who wake at dusk and throw off sleep, welcome to the night. To you who make the forest sing, who dip and dodge on a silent wing, who flutter, hover, clasp and cling, welcome to the night. Come feel the cool and shadowed breeze. Come smell your way among the trees. Come touch rough bark and leathered leaves, welcome to the night. The night's a sea of dappled dark. The night's a feast of sound and spark. The night's a wild, enchanted park. Welcome to the night. So that's the end of the poem. So hopefully you guys were listening and imagining. All right. So the poem made an image in your mind. What did you hear? What did you hear in the poem? Kylie? The birds chirping. Anything else that we heard? I'll go back to the poem if we need to. Wesley?
Buzz and chirp kind of sounded out like, as Kylie said, birds.
Okay, birds, all right. So we're hearing birds. What else are we hearing, Zoe? Okay, yep. We're hearing that, London. Reminds you of a garden, okay. Okay. Anyone else hear anything in the poem? Hear anything? Marcos?
On the last paragraph, the second sentence says, the night's feast of sound and spark, the night's wild,
Enchanted park. So yeah, there's obviously it's talking about some sound there. Another one that you could have picked out, hoot and peep, right? Also bird noises is what we were mentioning. You can also flutter, hover, clasp, and cling, right? Well, maybe not cling, but clasp, hover, flutter. You can hear those things. Usually they're very quiet, but you can, right? So those would be some sounds that maybe you would have heard. Which words in the poem helped you hear those sounds? You kind of already pointed them out. All right, so when a word imitates the sound of an object or animal, it is that word again. Onomatopoeia. Let's go with that. All right, those words imitate the sound the object or animal makes. This is called onomatopoeia. For example, the word hoot imitates the sound an owl makes, right? Hoo, hoo. So, hoot. It's kind of got the similar sound, right? So examples include, oh yeah, and this is where I put it. So if you want to pronounce the word, this is how you would say it. So sometimes when you look in dictionaries or certain nonfiction texts, they will put this next to words. Typically it's next to names a lot of times because sometimes it's hard to pronounce a name. And names don't always follow the rules of English when it comes to sounds and stuff like that. So they'll put something like this in front of it or behind it so that you can try to pronounce the word. So onomatopoeia. So that's how you would say it. Yes, Linda? Okay.
Why is it
And so some other examples included are like buzz, right? It makes a z sound. So when we're thinking of like bugs and stuff like that, and they're making this z, you got buzz. So it's imitating the sound that bugs make, right? And then we already talked about hoot. Peep is kind of like what baby birds or like some type of birds do. They have the very high chirp sound. So like peep, peep. So you would try to say peep, peep, right? So you've got the sound there that kind of imitates that sound as well. So you can see a lot of these words in the English language kind of are matching up. And that is what we call onomatopoeia. All right, so let's go ahead and read through this poem. And you're going to be thinking about those words, okay? Trying to come up with words that are doing imitation, okay? Perch missile, almost invisible, you preen silent feathers. Swivel your sleek satellite, dish of head, what fills the cool moons of your mesmerizing eyes. What waves of sound funnel toward those waiting ears. What symphonies of squeaks and skitters, darts and rustles swell the vast, breathing darkness of your realm? O dark emperor of hooked face and hungry eye, turn that awful beak away from me. Disregard the tiny hiccup of my heart as I plead. So, this is talking about an animal. Is anyone able to figure out what animal this is? What animal is this, Emmett?
Owl?
It is an owl, yes. The owl is the dark emperor. Okay, it's supposed to be, owls are predators, right? And they are things that a lot of other animals and bugs and things are trying to hide from them because they go out at night and try to, find their prey and eat. So, what does it sound like we are in this poem? So, it's about the owl. What are we? What's our perspective, Micah?
Right.
So the owl's the predator. What will we be? There's a little bit of science in here. So what will we be? The prey, right? So we're coming from the perspective of the thing that's probably getting eaten, right? The thing that's trying to avoid the owl. All right. So, is there any sounds that you heard from the poem? What did you hear? And which words helped you hear those sounds? So we're going to go back to this. What did you hear? And what words helped you hear that sound? Wesley?
Of hooked face and hungry eye.
Okay, so you heard the hooked face and hungry eye?
No, that's what helped me hear. Can't think of the word.
Okay. Zoe?
Like when it says, what ways sound funnel towards those waiting ears, kind of just like helps me, I guess, see it and hear it.
Okay. All right, what waves of sound funnel toward those waiting ears? Okay, that's the owl listening, trying to hear things and try to catch where the prey is at. Okay, but what other words out here help us hear the sounds? Okay, remember, we're talking about onomatopoeia, right? We're talking about words that imitate sounds. So what kind of words in here do we have that imitate sounds? We had some examples when we were discussing this. So Marcos?
Right after what Zoe said, the symphony, the squeaks and skitters, dark and roll.
And rustles. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. So squeaks was one of the examples. So this is an imitation sound. So squeak, eek, right? That's where they're getting the sound from. And then you have skitters, and then rustles. It's kind of got the leaf sound in it when the leaves are moving across the ground, that sort of thing. Rustles. All right. Any other examples that we can find in here before we move on? Yeah, Wesley?
Says the hiccup of my heart. That's not really an imitation, but what Marco said kind of actually helped me hear the
Yeah.
squeaks.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That can help you hear that sound too, right? If they give you some kind of description of what that would be like. Okay. So, if you read poetry today, notice if the poet used onomatopoeia, okay? If you find examples, share them with the class at the end of reading. So, you're not going to write in your mini lesson response today or anything like that. You're just going to, if you choose to do poetry, which we have poetry over there, if you're wanting to find something to read, if you choose to use poetry, it's over there. And if you happen to notice this, you know, be ready to share also at the end of class, okay? So, what we have for task today, we're going to do grammar. Reader's response is today, so please try to remember. Most of you do a great job. Last week I only had to hunt down 1 or 2 people to get this reader's response done. I know one of them was absent that week. So, just try to remember to get this done. Remember, 2 thinking stems, okay? We're doing 2 thinking stems. And you have a whole list of thinking stems to choose from. So you pick 2, and you write evidence for them, okay? So I have some of you I have to mark down because you're not doing 2 thinking stems, or you're not providing evidence for your thinking stems, okay? You're just kind of saying them, and you're calling it quits. You're done at that point. You need to also provide evidence for it. Most of you are doing a great job, though, with the formatting, making sure it looks like a letter. Most of you are doing a great job there. And also when it comes to grammar and stuff like that, you guys are getting better at spelling, I'm noticing. I'm not marking down as many misspelled words. So that's good to see as well. And then obviously independent reading. If you have any reading group assignments, stuff that you need to get done, you'll want to get that done in this time. I will be meeting with blue and orange group today, okay? So go ahead and get your reading material stuff, and we'll get started.